Hey guys, so I've got COVID and I'm in quarantine. My boy's up from interstate at the moment. He's entertaining himself, and I've sold my only modded Saturn, and I want to play Saturn. So, story behind this Saturn is I sold someone a pre-modded system for half price. It was sort of a good deal for both of us. His system wasn't recognizing the controllers. It already has a 20-pin FENRIR in it. Now I've got about 20 Saturns. They're all 21 pin except one. Now this guy, he's put a 240 volt power supply in his VA0 here. And as you can see, I don't know what wizardry he used to get that to fit, but it's not even close to fitting. So apparently his controller ports aren't working and it's the wrong power supply. I just can't be bothered messing around with his VA0, so I've pulled out my 20 pin VA0 with a Japanese supplier. I'll just use a step down converter, and I'm just going to FRAM mod it. So I'll show you guys an easy way to do these FRAM mods. Now if you look at the Retro RGB website, it says you're looking for a UPD 43257B. That's not right in this case. If we look at Consoles Unleashed as well, all these ICs have different names, maybe because they're using PAL consoles or US consoles to make these diagrams. I found here that the chip is a SRAM 2025 7LLM10. That's definitely the chip we're working with. So I'll just show you a little way here to get that. Oh, check out this shirt I got from JCar, by the way. JCar, I mean JJ's. Freaking sick. Yeah, I'm working on a Saturn, but I'm repping the PlayStation shirt. So it's an easy way to get these off. I've only done a few. I've never opened one of these 20 pin models. They're a bit of a pain in the ass to disassemble. The later revisions are a lot nicer. So just got a pair of side cutters here, and probably cut that side there and then push in that way with a bunch of solder, and it should slide off. So the few that I have done of these are all glued down. So this is kill two birds with one stone type thing, because you'd have to heat gun that off regardless. Anyway, I'll just show you how I do it anyway. Just going to come into one side. We're just going to snip these pins off carefully. You do need to be careful here. So looking forward to some Japanese shmups. Hopefully I can find a multiplayer one to throw on to play with my son. That should be it. That'll all be cut. But you just gotta be careful, you don't want to rip up a track or anything. Just have a quick look at that. As you can see along there, they've all been disconnected from the board. I'll just give it one more run through just in case. Just do one pin at a time. Don't try and put your side cutters around like 2 or 3, because these tracks can be very easy to rip up. You don't want to have to do bodge work. Yeah, it definitely saves you mucking around with hot air guns and so forth. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with that. I think that they're all definitely disconnected. Gonna put a bit of flux on the opposite side. So I'm not going to use my good solder for this. I'm just using this nasty cheap stuff. I don't use it often. On cartridge adapters and stuff, when I assemble them I'll use it, but that's about it. Just got to find it. There it is. Okay, the iron's heated up. So we're just going to go nuts here. Lots of solder. Spread it all over. Bridge all the pins. Once they're all flooded, it should be enough. Get that blob out of the way. Oops. Whoa, be careful. I've blobbed it on a component there, but it's all good. Be a bit more careful than that. I'll flux that and tap it back down. Done. So I think one of the legs on this side wasn't quite disconnected. Success. Got some desoldering braid here. Cut off the used bit. Some homemade jelly flux. Just going to dip the braid into it. And we'll just let it glide over the pads. And then just heat and drag. I'm not going to bother cleaning this up yet. We'll do that later. Now this is my fourth one. The last three were all glued. I can't see any glue there, but if it's glued, because you're heating it up and pushing it sideways, that will dislodge the glue at the same time. Let's give it a little quick wipe. Loop. Now our new FRAM ICs are here. Just pop one out of the anti-static packaging. There we go. I think it was 28 and 22. Should be that pin. I'll just confirm it. Yes. So we want to leave two pins floating. 28 and 22. Just got the tweezers here. I'm just going to lift up pin 28. That one's going to 5 volts and the other one's going to ground. Be careful here, you don't want to break them off. So that's 28. I'm going to go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And that's good. So we want 28 there. Now we shouldn't need a scope for this. We can Confirm it's all soldered properly with the scope after if you want. Not a super tough job. Just try and get that lined up. Give it a bit more flux. Just soak the whole area up. Excuse me. Going to do this top corner. That's it, that should be stuck there. We'll go to the opposite corner. That should be stuck there too. Excuse me. There we go. Once all the corners are done, you can sort of go for gold. Oh, that's 28 and I'm trying to tack it down. Sorry guys, I'm sick and I'm not thinking. So we'll just go 27. 28 so when we lift it up. That's it, that's in place. Now you can drag, solder, give it a go. Just add a little bit more flux. The dragging didn't really turn out. I bridged them all. There we go, zoom in on that. We'll confirm that afterwards with the scope that they're all good. Just got to do the other side now. So there's a million different techniques you can use here. But the idea is obviously just get the thing soldered in. That should be it. Let's fire up the scope here. Check it all out. That's looking pretty good. You don't need to absolutely flood the legs with solder. Might give it one more pass. That's it. So we've just got to run the two legs we've lifted. We've got 28 out of circuit, it's floating there, and 22. We'll just work out which one goes where. 22 is to ground. The Consoles Unleashed has recommended the 5-volt pin for this IC here for powering the FRAM, and that vacant spot there for a capacitor, which isn't actually there, for the ground leg on that. Excuse me. So we've just got some offcuts here, just some scrap wire, which is all over the shop now. Strip back the end. Might just dip that in my homemade jelly fox. Now I'm soldering a certain way because I really like the solder, but I couldn't find it any thinner. So this is like really thick solder. But I mean, solder it how you like, as long as it, you know, turns out. Excuse me. Now we've got our 22. That's on there. Okay, so we've had to switch phones. My flagship Asus Zenfone 8 with 16 gig of RAM. I had to upgrade the desktop computer after that to 32 because it just felt weird having a phone with as much RAM as my computer. Anyway, going off topic, but it just overheated. So we've switched phones. I've got that ground run. Get nice and close in there. 22 is just going to the negative of that vacant capacitor footprint. Now I've just got to run 28 up to the 5 volts for this. We can't use the positive there, that's on a different voltage rail. So we want 5 volts, that's the only one around. I checked with the meter. Tweezers. Is this going to be the right length? Might cut it to length now. I don't have too much slack. Oh, Streets of Rage. Yeah, reckon about that'll do. Just flux up this very top right leg. I need to get a new squirt bottle. That one's just shooting out copious amounts of flux. I like to dip it in the flux, it's just my thing, you don't have to do that, I don't always do it. And tack it onto here. Alright, that's the leg we want. Not difficult. And then the other end to 28, and we're good, we can tidy it up and reassemble. Now obviously what this does is, the original save RAM is of the SRAM type. It's volatile, it's only going to keep your save games on there for the life of your battery. And it would be a bit of a mess around trying to keep that SRAM powered while you switch batteries. This FRAM obviously has a different pin out, which is why we're lifting these pins and grabbing ground and voltage from elsewhere. Those pins differ from the SRAM. But once this is done, we've got the FRAM in there. Your save games are good for pretty much for a lifetime, regardless of if the battery is even in there or whether it's charged or not. I do have some fresh batteries here. So for the sake of not having to reset the date and time every time we switch the system on, I will replace that. Slot that in there. Bam. But we'll just tack that leg down and we're good to go. Hey, don't shoot me with a Nerf gun, go away. I'll be within a sec. Should not have given him access to those Nerf guns. And there's 28. Not going to try and be too perfect here. There's a bit of extra exposed conductor there.
Daddy, got you.
Yeah, you got me.
Dad, I was trying to make play Nerf with me for a little bit after that.
So much flux. Just give this a bit of a pull and make sure it's on there. That's it. I'll just give it a quick tidy up and we'll zoom in on it. Use your toothbrush, your paintbrush, whatever. Toothbrushes are a little stiff sometimes for some jobs. So, I like to use the paintbrush.
Excuse me.
My favourite way to do this is to go outside and actually onto the grass and just go like that. So you're not just spreading the flux around, you're actually letting it run off the board, and all that's left is alcohol. I mean, if you've used a shit ton of flux there and you just add alcohol, you're just spreading the flux around. So anyway, clean that to whatever your cleaning standards are, and that's it. Let's zoom in on that. That's a pretty clean job there. We'll just let the alcohol dry up, reassemble it, and I guarantee you that's good to go. So yeah, that's it. Just a quick way to replace your SRAM with FRAM without a heat gun, and that's it.